was about to go to law school, and then I had a buddy of mine, because dude, I know you play small action poker online, like it's small action.
A little bit.
But I was a big poker degen.
Like live?
No, I just play at casino games.
Right.
In college. And so I started to meet a lot of people that were in like the gambling space.
Right.
And I met this guy that worked for DraftKings. And he was like, bro, like this guy, Bob Menery, do you know him?
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, he needs somebody out in LA. I think I was 23 at the time. And I was like, okay, bro, I'm going to LA. I'm going to try this out. Moved to LA, started working for Bob. And then just met NELK through Bob. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. At what point do you transfer from Bob to like working for someone else?
Me and Bob, dude, we had the best life ever. Like,
because he was the party guy. I remember you talking about this.
Bro, like, I moved in with Bob, and he's just so fucking nuts. Like, have you met Bob?
Have I met him? I don't know. I've talked to him online a little bit, I think.
Yeah, and you should play him in Heads Up. That's easy money for you.
Really?
Yeah, easy.
Wait, so he'll
Charity,
play for
bro.
high stakes, but he sucks?
We used to play for my paycheck.
You think you're good?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, let's play. We could play Heads Up.
Yeah?
Yeah, we could play Heads Up.
Okay.
But me and him used to play, like, when I worked for him, I was his assistant, bro.
Uh-huh.
And we had an online game, and he'd go, yo, like, I'd be in my room, he'd be in his room, and we'd play Heads Up for my paycheck that week.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you ever lose it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'd be on tilt.
How many big blinds?
We'd play 5-10, and then we'd buy in 1,000.
Okay. And so you'd have to, like, wager your whole... What, like that seems
point,
like abusive.
Nah, bro.
Less cool and more like...
But abusive by who? By me or him?
Like if this was being judged by like a real corporation standards, if for sure you have to gamble your whole paycheck, like... I don't know.
I never had to. It was just offered it.
Oh, yeah.
So I would fucking do it, and I'd go on tilt, and then I'd create another Instagram account, and I'd go and DM him, because Bob would go through his DMs, and he'd DM people back.
Okay.
So I'd create a fake account, and I would just chirp the fuck out of him. So I'd literally be sitting close to him from a burner account, like, bro, you're a fucking bitch, like all this shit. And he'd be responding, and I'd be from a burner account.
And you'd be doing this while you're playing poker to gain an edge?
No, after.
Oh,
I'd be so tilted.
Really?
But he goes through all of his DMs like that, so I could fuck with him. And for me, it was like the most satisfying, funniest thing of all time.
How long did it take you to confess that?
I don't know if I've ever confessed that.
This is the first
Doing
guy
that to your
showed
boss?
him on the pod.
To your boss.
But I could get away with it because he had no idea. He's like,
Right.
who the fuck is fucking Steven Daniels from, you know what I mean?
It's such
With
a
4
rare
followers.
setup because the average person with a lot of followers doesn't really like just read their DMs, or if they do read their DMs, they're not arguing with random people.
Yeah, he's one of those guys.
He's one of those guys you can't
Yeah.
like go. That's such an old head move. No, how old is he now? Is he old enough to put him in that box?
I think like 34.
I feel like that's something that dudes I know over 40 will do, is like argue with every single negative comment.
Oh my God, bro. Yeah, respond to Twitter and shit. Like, that's an old head move for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so how do you stop working with Bob and start working for NELK?
So with Bob, we had a big opportunity because me and Bob, like, when I started working for him, he was doing Ripper Magoo's at the time, which was like an older podcast, his first one he ever did.
Right.
And it was really starting to gain traction. And we would just fucking, like, that was the biggest grind I've ever gone through. Like, he wasn't making the kind of money he was with NELK when he did Full Send Pod as he was at that point. Mm-hmm. And so we were just fucking both grinding. And then he always had a great relationship with Dana White. Like, always. I don't know how it started, but Dana hit him up and he was like, yo, let's have you come out to Abu Dhabi for a fight. This was peak COVID. And Bob called Kyle.
And that was the NELK video where they were out there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And fucking Bob calls Kyle. He's like, bro, I could get you guys there. Like, this is going to be the biggest thing, which it was huge. And so Bob hits up Kyle and he's like, yo, you guys want to come? And so it was the craziest process. Kyle confirms he wants to go. We had to fly to Vegas first. We quarantined there for 3 days, so we couldn't see anybody. We were just in a hotel room. Mm-hmm. And then after that 3 days, we flew to Abu Dhabi. And in Abu Dhabi, we had to quarantine for 3 more days. So you literally didn't see anybody.
Right.
And I think Bob started to get like paranoid that NELK was going to prank him there. And so the day that we got there, he texted me. He's like, bro, I can't fucking do this shit. I'm going back to the U.S. So he dipped. And I was like, bro, this is the fucking biggest opportunity. Like, as you guys know, peak COVID.
Right.
Social media was the fucking hottest thing ever.
I regret that I didn't really like understand that at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't understand like, oh, our numbers are so massively up because of COVID. I felt just like, oh, like our content must be better. So that must be why we're getting so many more views.
He was that afraid of being pranked that he had to leave?
I think it was that and among other things, but like Bob's just fucking, he's a loony. He freaks out and shit. So he freaks out and he dips. And he texts me and he's like, hey, bro, I'm going back to Boston. You can come with me or you can stay here. And I was just like, dude, like, this is a big-ass opportunity. Like, I've never been to a UFC fight. We're in Abu Dhabi. Khabib was fighting his last fight ever.
Right.
So I was like, bro, I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
Like, Dana is fucking coming to, like, he would come and check the rooms. And he was like, dude, what the fuck's going on with Bob? And I was like, dude, I can't explain this one. Like, he just dipped.
Right.
I don't know if it's paranoia or whatever, but he dipped. And I was like, what do you think about, like, these NELK, like, the NELK crew? He's like, dude, these guys are fucking on fire. They're the guys.
Dana just loved him.
Loved him.
From day one.
From day one, bro. He just, like, understood it. And I remember the first time when I had seen, like, their whole operation, and I was like, yo, these guys move, like, with a real infrastructure. They have assistants. They have cameramen. Like, they have everything in place. And Bob and me were so unorganized, like, didn't have fucking shit in plan, right? So you see an operation like that, and you're like, yo, these guys are really doing it. And Dana was like, dude, these guys are the biggest thing right now. And he was like, you should try and fucking join them. And so I hit it off with Steve, Kyle, and then they ended up offering me a job.
Right. And so how did Bob take that?
I called him like 3 p.m. Abu Dhabi time, so it was probably like 2 a.m. U.S. time, and he was absolutely zapped.
Right.
You fucking piece of shit. Like, bro, I put it on speaker for a second because I was like, yo, this has been going on for 5 minutes.
Right.
He was just going off on me. And then a day later, he was like, dude, you got to do what's best for you. Like, I'm going to give you my blessing if you want to fucking go. Because at the end of the day, he left me in the Middle East.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, we flew out there. And one thing I left out is he didn't have a passport.
But he just went out there anyway?
2 weeks before, he didn't have a passport.
Oh,
And he said, you got to get me a passport. So I had to call 100 people to get him a passport. Like, we had to fly to a different state.
Yeah, especially at that time during COVID and everything.
It was impossible.
Right.
So we got him a passport, and it was a pain in the ass. And I was just like, yo, I'm going to just fucking feel this week out and see how it goes. And then I hit it off with them, and dude, it was the best. Like, it's just a good time with those guys.
And how are you feeling at that time about like working for NELK and doing all this kind of sick shit where, you know, prior to that, getting your history degree and going to law school and shit, you're expecting to have this like pretty boring ass life kind of, right?
Bro.
And you were probably happy with that because realistically it's still like a good job and shit.
It was, but it's like, dude, like, I could not go to a fucking firm or an office every day. It just like, I was like, dude, there's got to be more out there. And so once I saw this opportunity and like how freely like Bob would live and like I would live, like, dude, we would go out in LA 5 nights a week. Just go to a restaurant or go to a bar. And for me, I was like, this is the fucking coolest thing of all time.
Right.
So I was just like, there's got to be something here. This is a fucking cool ass life. And so I completely forgot about everything else.
Right.
I was like, this is it.
All in.
Yeah.
We just hit 600,000 subscribers on the Clips channel right here. We're trying to get to 700, so you know what to do. Smack that red button and subscribe. Appreciate you.